last Tuesday night, St. Patrick's Day, I dropped my daughter off for her hour-and-a-half dance lesson. I thought I'd go for a walk. And as I'm walking down the road, I come across this Irish sports bar. And outside the Irish sports bar, cars are everywhere, just packed, as you would expect on St. Patrick's Day. But there was this guy standing off by the side of the parking lot. And he had a string tied around his wrist. And as the string went up and wrapped around his finger, and he had it out, and he was dipping the string like this in a pond of snow melt. Like he was fishing. And I thought, that is just so strange. But the guy looked like he was about my age, and I thought, it's St. Patrick's Day. I went over and I invited him inside and said, I'll buy us a couple of pints. And so we went in and ordered 2 Guinness. And while we're enjoying our beer, I asked him, did you catch anything today? And he takes a big drink off long drink off his Guinness, and he says, you're number 8. Turns out, this is Gregory O'Donnell, the fitness trainer for the 23rd man to ever break the 4-minute mile. Now that's not much of a thing to say that I coached the 23rd guy to do it, but it is something to say that I know how to break the 4-minute mile. And this is how you do that. It's all in there's 2 parts. One is technique, and unfortunately the second is being born with all the right genes. And with 7 billion people on the planet, there's quite a few people born with the right genes. The technique is not the way we've always trained to run. We were always trained to run heel, toe. And what happens when you run that way is every time you put your foot out there, you have a sudden, almost instantaneous stop. You start all over again, you run all over again with each step. Which is fine if you're dancing. Not so good if you're trying to break a 4-minute mile. So the real techniques that runners use to be able to run that fast, you got to realize, high school students are breaking the 4-minute mile every day. So we're not talking 25, 30-year-old professional level trained athletes or Olympians. We're talking 17-year-olds and 18-year-olds are breaking the 4-minute mile every day. We don't run the way we used to. Training techniques are pretty easy, though. The first part of the stride for a 4-minute miler is that your knees have to go high. So what do? Every day they go as high as they can go. For as long as they can go. Then they just do that once. And the next thing they're doing is they're bouncing. Get that pushed off with their feet. So they do that for a while. And then the third thing they do is they got to get their heels up in the air. So they're doing this thing. Okay? You put those 3 together, and you get a very unique stride. You go all the way up, foot comes down, presses all the way back. Now you're doing this, the whole time you're doing this, you're falling down. So for 4 minutes, you are falling forward. All right? We never trained that way before. But that's how they do it every time. Now, the same kind of running is done for marathon runners. Everybody and their brother says, oh yeah, my brother's doing this. Guy at work's running a marathon, or I'm running a marathon next month. You know, it's very popular to say that. But they don't run the way the winners run. The winners run 4.5 minutes per mile for 26 consecutive miles. They're coming in at 2 hours and 3 minutes, 2 hours and 4 minutes consistently across all marathons. So they're basically running 15 miles an hour. I can't imagine running 15 miles an hour. And I used to run a 3-mile run in the Marine Corps at 16 minutes and 6 seconds. That's 5 minutes and 22 seconds a mile. I cannot imagine shaving a whole minute off of that. Because I was doing the best I possibly could. But my technique wasn't the right technique. So, where did they come up with this idea that this is how you should run? If you look at one of Courtney's little kids running in the playground, now imagine they took their shoes off. So they're barefoot and they're running in the grass. And what do they look like? They look like the Roadrunner in the cartoons. Their body's way out in front, their feet are back here going like this, and they're just blazing across the playground. That's exactly the way we were born to run. Like little kids and barefoot in the grass. And we all forget that. And some coach says, run heel toe. And we're running heel toe and we're slowing ourselves down. We're becoming slower runners instead of faster runners. I have a 6th grade boy. I drive a school bus in the afternoon. 6th grade boy. He gets off the bus and he peels out down the street as fast as he can go in the same direction the bus goes. And I pull up next to him and I clock him every day. He's consistently 14 or 15 miles an hour driving right to his house. It's like a 500-yard run. He's just blazing out there. He has no idea that he's probably the fastest kid at his school. He's too young to be on the track team. But he runs naturally. And as soon as he gets on the track team, someone's going to mess him up. So run like a little kid, and you'll be so fast, the world will say, wow! Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.